There comes a moment in every man's life when he must decide whether he will continue to live small, silencing his own potential, or whether he will step into the vastness of his true power and embrace the silence that terrifies weaker men. The world has conditioned you to believe that power is noise, that strength is found in being seen, applauded, validated. But this is a lie. The most dangerous men to ever walk this earth did not broadcast their rise. They built in silence, and when the time was right, the world was forced to bow down. Stop hiding your power. Stop shrinking to fit the comfort of others. Stop pretending that your greatness does not burn inside you. Because here is the truth. The world does not need more men who speak loudly with nothing to back them up. The world needs men who cultivate power in silence, who become storms unseen, who strike with precision and finality. And when these men step forward, the world fears them, not because they shouted, but because they moved in silence until the results became undeniable. Think about it. The lion does not announce its hunt. The eagle does not scream while circling its prey. The oak tree does not ask permission to grow. It rises quietly, steadily, until its roots dominate the earth. This is the formula of power. Silence in the azal. Building, dominance in the revealing. Yet most men today waste their lives begging for attention, confusing visibility with strength. They expose half-formed plans, boast about intentions they never execute, and collapse when the applause fades. But the man who builds in silence, the man who hides his power until it is unshakable, he becomes unstoppable. This silence is not weakness, it is preparation. It is the crucible in which power is forged. It is the refusal to dilute your energy by scattering it into the opinions of others. When you broadcast your moves too early, you give the world an invitation to sabotage. You give critics a chance to discourage you. You give enemies a map to your strategy. But when you stay silent, when you cultivate your vision privately, your moves become invisible until they are irreversible. This is why silence wins battles. Wars are not won by announcing intentions. They are won by preparation, by strategy, by relentless execution, carried out in shadows until the moment of strike. When you stop hiding your power, when you start embracing the silence, you tap into a force that the loudest voices will never know, the force of inevitability. People may doubt you when they cannot see you. They may mock your absence, question your stillness. Let them. Because when your silence finally ends, when you reveal what you've been building, it will be too late for them to react. I want you to reflect deeply on this truth. The power you are afraid to express is the very thing that will set you apart from mediocrity. Every time you silence your own greatness out of fear of judgment, you trade your destiny for comfort. Every time you reveal your plans too soon, you weaken them. And every time you choose attention over execution, you kill the man you could have become. Stop hiding. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for your fire. Learn to embrace silence as your shield, your forge, your weapon. History remembers those who mastered this formula. Napoleon Hill himself observed that the men who built empires Carnegie, Ford, Edison were not men addicted to noise. They were men who studied, who planned, who endured ridicule and obscurity until their creation spoke louder than any words they could utter. They were feared, not because they sought fear, but because they became so powerful in silence that their presence alone commanded it. That the silence you fear is the very silence that will set you free. The discipline you practice when no one is watching, the sacrifices you make in private, the relentless repetition of habits without applause, this is where your power grows roots. And one day, when those roots are unshakable, the world will look up at your tree and wonder how you grew so strong while they weren't watching. This is the beginning of the silent formula. This is the first step toward unleashing the man inside you that the world secretly fears. The question is, will you continue to hide your power, or will you embrace the silence and let it transform you into the weapon you were born to be? Asterisk every man who ever became extraordinary had to confront the same decision you face today. Will you choose to live for applause, or will you live for results? The weak choose applause because it is immediate. The strong choose results because results last forever. The problem with applause is that it fades the moment the hands grow tired. But results real, undeniable results echo through time. And here is the irony. Men who chase applause rarely achieve it for long. But men who chase mastery in silence eventually receive both results and applause. Whether they wanted the recognition or not, now think about the world we live in today. Every man wants to be seen. They are obsessed with documenting their lives, with broadcasting their progress, with ensuring that no moment of effort goes unnoticed. They crave validation like a starving man craves bread. They cannot endure silence because silence feels like insignificance. But this is a deception. Silence is not insignificant, silence is incubation. Just as a seed must remain underground before it breaks through the soil, your dreams, your discipline, your transformation must remain hidden before they manifest. When you stop hiding your power, you stop begging for recognition. You stop trading your destiny for likes, views, or empty praise. You start investing every ounce of your energy into execution. And this is the first practical key to the silent formula. Train yourself to become addicted to private discipline instead of public validation. How do you do this? You begin by mastering your mornings. The man who owns his morning owns his day, and the man who owns his day eventually owns his destiny. Yet look around, most men waste their mornings. They wake late, scroll endlessly, drown their mind in distractions before they have even planted a single seed of discipline. They have already lost the battle before the sun has fully risen. But the man who embraces silence, who rises early and enters his own private war with his laziness, who trains his body, sharpens his mind, writes his goals, rehearses his visionness. Man is building invisible armor. His victories are unseen, but they are building him into someone no storm can break. Silence in the morning is your forge. Do not announce it. Do not brag about it. Let the quiet hours before the world awakens become your kingdom. In those hours, the weak are asleep and the strong are growing. In those hours, mediocrity is at rest, but greatness is alive. If you can learn to dominate your mornings without needing anyone to witness it, you will cultivate a form of power that cannot be faked. The second practical key is this: resist the intoxication of exposure. Exposure feels powerful because it gives you attention, but in reality, it weakens you. Why? Because when you expose your vision too soon, you invite doubt into it. You open the door for criticism, for sabotage, for ridicule. You also dilute your hunger. The human mind confuses talking about something with actually doing it. Every time you broadcast a plan before you execute it, you feel a false sense of accomplishment, and this reduces your drive. The great men of history understood this truth. They kept their plans in silence until they were undeniable. You must learn to protect your vision like a secret weapon. Guard it from the world until it is so strong that nothing can stop it. When others ask what you're working on, give them silence or give them vagueness. You owe them no explanation. Your results will explain themselves when the time is right. The third key is embracing pain as your private companion. Pain is not something to run from. It is something to master. The weak complain about pain. They seek sympathy. They broadcast their suffering to anyone who will listen. But men who win without attention, they absorb pain in silence. They do not beg for comfort. They do not whine about their struggles. They transform pain into power. They allow suffering to harden them, to sharpen them, to carve them into the kind of man the world cannot ignore. Let me illustrate this with a principle Napoleon Hill himself taught. Every adversity carries within it the seed of an equal or greater advantage. But here is the catch: the seed only grows if you plant it in silence. If you waste your adversity by complaining, by seeking pity, by broadcasting your wounds, you lose the advantage. But if you take that pain inward, if you convert it into fuel, you grow stronger while the world remains unaware. And when you finally emerge, you will have transformed your scars into weapons. The fourth key is discipline in the shadows. This means mastering the art of repetition when no one is watching. Legends are not built by grand gestures, but by relentless habits repeated daily in obscurity. The average man gives his best only when eyes are on him. He trains hard when the crowd cheers, but relaxes when he is alone. The great man does the opposite. He gives his best when no one is watching, and therefore when the world finally does watch, they are astonished by his strength. Understand this clearly. Silence is not about doing nothing. Silence is about doing everything that matters without needing applause. It is about training, building, creating, learning, failing, and rising again, all in private. It is about building such an arsenal of skill and character that when the world finally sees you, they cannot comprehend how you became so powerful. There will be days when silence feels unbearable. You will crave recognition. You will want someone to notice the work you are doing. But this craving is a test. The universe is asking you, do you want to be seen now, or do you want to be remembered? Forever? Do you want the applause of today, or the authority of tomorrow? If you choose to endure the silence, you are planting seeds that will outlast you. If you choose to abandon it for quick validation, you are wasting your life. You must learn to fall in love with the process, to wake up each day knowing that the grind, the repetition, the silence, that is where your power is growing. And you must remind yourself constantly, results will speak for themselves. You don't need to prove anything to anyone right now. You are proving it to yourself, and one day the world will see what you have become. Stop hiding your power. Stop playing small to keep others comfortable. Stop broadcasting weakness in search of sympathy. Retreat into the silence. Train harder than you ever have. Build deeper than anyone expects. Cultivate roots so strong that when the storm comes, you are the last tree standing. This is the practical path of the silent formula. Master your mornings. Resist exposure. Embrace pain and cultivate discipline in the shadows. This is how you stop hiding your power. This is how the world learns to fear your silence. Asterisk, the greatest enemy you will ever face is not the noise of the world, but the noise within your own mind. That is why silence is so powerful. It forces you to confront yourself. It strips away the illusions of attention, the comfort of applause, the lies of external validation. In the silence, there is only you, your discipline, your vision, your fears, your habits. This is why most men run from silence. They cannot bear to face themselves. But the men who embrace it, who enter willingly into the solitude, who master the voice inside their head, they emerge with a power that no crowd can give them, and no enemy can take away. Stop hiding your power. Stop running from silence. Stop avoiding the private battles that will define you, because every great man in history has fought and won these battles before you. They understood that greatness is not created in the spotlight. It is revealed. There, it is created in the shadows, in the silent hours, in the private wars no one ever sees. Let us examine the mental code of these men. It begins with vision. A man without vision is a slave to distraction. He is tossed back and forth by every trend, every voice, every opinion. He wastes his energy chasing what is popular instead of building what is eternal. But the man of silence, he holds a vision in his mind so clearly that he does not need the world's approval. He sees it before anyone else does, and he keeps it alive in his imagination until it becomes reality. Napoleon Hill taught us, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But here is what most forget: belief is strengthened in silence. When you protect your vision from the noise, when you nurture it in solitude, belief grows roots. Doubt loses its grip. You begin to act as though your vision is inevitable, and when you act with such certainty, reality has no choice but to bend to your will. This is why you must stop hiding your power, because the world will never give you permission to rise. If you wait for applause, you will wait forever. The average man cannot see greatness until it is undeniable, and if you let their blindness stop you, you will die with your potential buried inside you. Do not let this happen. Guard your vision. Feed it daily in silence. Let it become so real in your mind that no circumstance can destroy it. The second part of this mental code is patience. Men who cannot endure waiting will never build empires. They want everything now, and so they accept anything. They trade their future for comfort, their destiny for shortcuts, their power for attention. But the man who can wait, who can suffer in silence, who can endure obscurity, this man is unstoppable. Understand this. Patience is not passive. It is active preparation. It is the discipline to keep building, keep learning, keep sharpening, even when no one is watching. It is the refusal to quit when progress is invisible. Think of the blacksmith striking the iron over and over, not because the world applauds him, but because he knows the weapon will one day be complete. Every strike matters. Every repetition counts. But if he stopped too soon, the sword would never be ready. Your life is the same. Silence is your forge. Patience is your hammer. Consistency is the fire. And when the weapon is ready, the world will see, but not before. The third part of the mental code is solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is emptiness. Solitude is power. It is the environment in which you can hear your own thoughts, discover your own desires, confront your own weaknesses. Men who fear solitude are slaves to distraction. They cannot sit still. They cannot endure their own company. They are addicted to noise, because noise drowns out the truth. But men who master solitude learn to direct their own minds. They learn to command their thoughts, to bend their emotions, to rewire their subconscious. And once you master your inner world, the outer world becomes your servant. You must practice solitude deliberately. Withdraw from the crowd. Disconnect from the endless stream of noise. Spend hours alone with your thoughts, your books, your plans. This is not retreat. It is training. Just as a warrior sharpens his blade in private before entering battle, you sharpen your mind in solitude before entering life. And when you return to the world, you return stronger, more focused, more dangerous. The fourth part of the mental code is endurance. Success is not given to the fastest, but to the man who refuses to quit. Pain is temporary. Discomfort is fleeting. But most men cannot endure it. They break at the first sign of resistance. They collapse when results do not appear immediately. But the man of silence, he does not break. He endures. He understands that every season has its time, and that harvest only comes to those who keep planting, keep watering, keep waiting. His silence is not weakness, it is resilience. His endurance is not passivity, it is victory delayed but guaranteed. The fifth part of the mental code is secrecy. Not everything you do must be known. In fact, the most powerful men reveal the Least, they allow others to underestimate them. They allow enemies to mock their silence, to mistake their patience for weakness. And then, when the moment is right, they strike. This is strategy. A general does not announce his plans to the enemy. A builder does not expose the foundation while it is still wet. You must learn to keep your power hidden until it is ready to be revealed. Secrecy protects your vision. Secrecy protects your momentum. Secrecy multiplies your power dot. So let us bring this together. Vision, patience, solitude, endurance, secrecy. This is the mental code of men who stop hiding their power. This is the formula that transforms ordinary men into legends. And every one of these principles requires silence. You cannot build vision in noise. You cannot develop patience under pressure for immediate results. You cannot practice solitude if you are always surrounded. You cannot endure if you are addicted to quick fixes. You cannot keep secrets if you crave validation. Silence is the foundation of them all. Now hear me clearly. The world does not reward noise. It rewards results. And the results of silence are more devastating than any amount of noise could ever be. When you learn to stop hiding your power, when you embrace the discipline of building in silence, you become the kind of man the world fears and respects at the same time. You become a storm waiting to strike, a force waiting to be revealed, a legend waiting to be written. The question you must ask yourself now is this: will you continue to scatter your energy in noise, or will you gather it in silence? Will you continue to hide your power by diluting it with validation, or will you cultivate it in secrecy until it cannot be ignored? The choice is yours. But remember this: the world does not fear men who talk. It fears men who are silent, disciplined, patient, enduring, and relentless. Be that man. There is a reason why the most dangerous men in history were not the ones who shouted the loudest, but the ones who worked in silence. Alexander the Great, for instance, was not a man of constant public declarations. He was a man of relentless private strategy. While others were speaking, he was planning. While others were celebrating, he was marching. And because he built his power in silence, his victories seemed sudden, overwhelming, unstoppable. Julius Caesar, too, understood this principle before he ever crossed the Rubicon, before he ever claimed Rome. He endured years of obscurity, quietly building alliances, silently mastering strategy, enduring humiliation without complaint. And then, when his moment came, he struck so decisively that Rome itself bent to his will. His silence was not weakness, it was preparation. Even in modern times, men who built empires often began in silence. Andrew Carnegie worked silently in the shadows of the steel mills before he became the titan of industry. Henry Ford endured failures, ridicule, and rejection in silence before the world recognized his genius. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times in obscurity before the light bulb illuminated the world. Each of them could have quit. Each of them could have sought sympathy. But they chose instead to embrace the silent formula. They endured, they prepared, they transformed pain into power. And when the world finally saw them, it was too late to stop them. Now, why do I tell you these stories? Because you must realize that silence is not an excuse for inaction. Silence is action without noise. It is building without broadcasting, growing without showing, preparing without announcing. And this is exactly why the world eventually fears silence, because it cannot measure what is being built. Noise is easy to measure. Silence is impossible to track. And what cannot be measured cannot be controlled. When you stop hiding your power, you do not need to convince anyone of your worth. You simply act, and your results become undeniable. The world does not ignore. A skyscraper, once it stands tall, no matter how long it took to build its foundations. The world cannot deny the sun once it rises, no matter how many hours it hid beneath the horizon. Likewise, the world cannot ignore you once your power is fully formed. But here lies the challenge. Most men will not endure long enough in silence to reach this point. They crave quick results. They cannot tolerate obscurity. They abandon their vision the moment recognition does not arrive. Do not be that man. Be the man who keeps planting seeds even when the soil seems barren. Be the man who keeps striking the iron even when no spark appears. Be the man who endures the silence until the results are so massive that the world has no choice but to take notice. How do you do this in practice? Let me give you a framework. First, build your fortress of habits. Habits are silent power. They do not require applause. They do not demand recognition. They simply accumulate strength over time. The man who works out daily in silence eventually builds a body that speaks louder than words. The man who reads daily in silence eventually builds a mind that intimidates ignorance. The man who saves and invests quietly eventually builds wealth that shouts without him saying a word. Habits are invisible at first, but the results are undeniable. Therefore, stop announcing your goals and start building your habits. Second, protect your inner circle. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Most men destroy their own power by sharing it with small-minded people who cannot comprehend it. These people will doubt you, criticize you, sabotage you, not because they are evil, but because they cannot see what you see. Protect yourself from their blindness. Surround yourself only with those who strengthen your discipline, those who understand the value of silence, those who respect your journey. Silence does not mean isolation. It means intentional association. Third, train your emotional discipline. Men who cannot control their emotions will always seek attention. They will seek sympathy when they hurt, applause when they succeed, validation when they doubt themselves. But you must become a man who does not need external confirmation. When you are angry, you control it. When you are sad, you endure it. When you are victorious, you celebrate proudly. Emotional discipline is the foundation of silent power because it prevents you from scattering your energy through needless expression. Fourth, transform rejection into fuel. Every time you are ignored, every time you are doubted, every time you are rejected, you are given an opportunity to grow stronger. The average man takes rejection personally. He feels insulted. He collapses. But the man of silence takes rejection as evidence that he is still building. He does not need the world's approval yet, because he knows approval is temporary, but power is permanent. Let rejection sharpen your hunger. Let it remind you that you are not finished yet. Fifth, set your timeline on eternity. Men who crave immediate results are slaves to time. They panic when success does not arrive in weeks or months. They give up when the harvest takes longer than expected. But the man of silence does not measure by days, he measures by decades. He is willing to work silently for years because he understands that true power is not microwaved, it is forged. And when you set your timeline on eternity, impatience loses its power over you. You are no longer competing with men who quit after 3 months. You are operating on a different plane. Now let me return to a principle Napoleon Hill wrote about: definiteness of purpose. He said that the man who knows where he is going will eventually get there, because all of life will bend itself to assist him. But definiteness of purpose must be paired with silence. If you shout your purpose to the world, you invite sabotage. If you hide it too deeply, you may lose touch with it. The balance is to live with definiteness in your mind and discipline, in your actions, without needing to expose either prematurely. The silent formula is not glamorous. It will not make you famous quickly. It will not give you applause today, but it will make you dangerous tomorrow. It will build a foundation so deep that no storm can uproot it. It will create a power so undeniable that when you finally reveal it, the world will ask, where did this man come from? And the answer will be simple. You came from the silence. Stop hiding your power in noise. Stop wasting your energy in attention-seeking. Embrace the formula of silence. Build habits that cannot be destroyed. Protect your vision from blindness. Discipline your emotions. Endure rejection. Think in decades. And when the world finally sees you, it will be too late for them to stop you. Asterisk, the time has come to face yourself with honesty. You have carried within you a power that has remained hidden, buried under noise, distraction, and fear. You have dimmed your own flame because you worried about how brightly it might burn. You have silenced your strength in the wrong way, silenced not by discipline, but by hesitation. But now, you must make the shift. You must choose to embrace the right kind of silence. The silence of builders, the silence of warriors, the silence of men who prepare in secret so they can strike with unstoppable force. The world will always underestimate the man who builds in silence. They will laugh at your absence from the spotlight. They will doubt your relevance. They will assume you are nothing. But this is exactly your advantage. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you are weak. Because when the time comes for you to reveal what you have been building, they will not be ready. They will not see it coming. And by then, it will be too late. Remember, your vision is your responsibility. Your silence is your weapon, and your discipline is your crown. Protect these three, and you will rise. Neglect them, and you will fade back into the noise with the rest of the world. Stop hiding your power. Silence does not mean surrender. Silence means focus. Silence means momentum. Silence means control. If you can master this, nothing will stop you, not rejection, not delay, not doubt. You will become the kind of man the world does not ignore, the kind of man whose presence reshapes reality itself. And now, I leave you with this. The world does not need another man chasing attention. It needs men who build legacies in silence, men who win battles without noise, men whose power cannot be denied. Be that man. Begin today. If this message has struck something within you, if you are ready to stop hiding your power and rise into silence, then commit fully. And before you leave, take one action right now. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with another man who needs this message. When you do, you're not just supporting this channel, you're building a brotherhood of men who rise in silence and dominate in life. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, and join us daily for wisdom that rewires your thinking, sharpens your discipline, and awakens the unstoppable force within you. Your silence is your weapon. Use it.